Greta is a psychological thriller movie that Ray Wright and Neil Jordan wrote and directed. A young woman makes friends with a widow who is lonely and harbors a sinister and lethal agenda for her. In the first scene, which is set in New York City, a young waitress called Frances McCullen is riding the subway home from work when she discovers a purse that a middle-aged Frenchwoman named Greta Heidig had left behind. No one is there as Frances tries to give the bag into lost property. Frances shares a home with Erica Penn, her closest friend and roommate. Erica examines the bag's contents while Frances keeps it till she can return it. They watch a movie afterwards, but Frances becomes emotional because she used to watch movies with her mother, who recently passed away from cancer. Because Chris, her father, has already gotten over the loss of his wife and immerses himself in his work, their connection is a little strained. Frances meets Greta at her residence. Greta invites Frances inside for coffee after being grateful for the bag's return. Greta is a piano teacher, and as she tells Frances about her family, she plays some music for her. Her daughter Nicola is rumored to reside in Paris, and her husband passed away a long time ago. Frances offers to assist Greta in finding a puppy as assistance after noticing that she is lonely. Greta declines, but as she goes, she thanks Frances and gets her number in case she changes her mind. Indeed, Greta phones Frances later that evening to accept the dog offer, and the two go the following weekend to pick up an elderly dog named Morton. Greta keeps in touch with Frances over the following few days, and the two develop a modest friendship. Greta raises Erica's suspicions, and she believes Frances merely uses her as a stand-in mother, but Frances takes offense at that notion. For dinner, Frances visits Greta at her house. When Frances enters Greta's cabinet to search for candles, she finds a stunning discovery: numerous identical handbags, each containing the exact same items. One contains a sticky note with Samantha Bale's phone number on it, and the other includes Frances' name and contact information. At dinner, Frances starts to feel uneasy, so she gets up to go. She tells Erica what she discovered when she gets home. Greta keeps trying to reach Frances, but Frances tries to return things to normal. Since Greta's boss won't get rid of her by himself, Frances confronts Greta about finding the other purses and not wanting to participate in whatever weird game Greta has in mind. Greta even pays a visit to Frances at work to talk to her. Greta is informed by Frances that she never wants to see her again. Greta is still following and bothering Frances. Even after the police show there, she continues to wait outside the restaurant and glare at her for hours. The attending officer instructs Frances to ignore Greta because there is nothing they can do to stop her because she has not threatened anyone or shown any signs that she will attack. When Erica is away and Frances is home, things worsen. Greta stalks Erica if she gives Frances photos of Erica at her specific location. Frances tries to find Erica and stays on the phone with her until she gets somewhere secure. Greta keeps sending Frances images to illustrate how close to Erica she is getting, even following her into the bus. Greta is alerted to Erica's presence by her illness. She exits the bus quickly, manages to spot Frances' cab, and jumps in with her. The two decide to accuse Greta of violating a restraining order. Fearing for Morton's safety, Frances tries to figure out a method to get him away from Greta. As she passes Greta's house, she searches through the trash for whatever information she can uncover on her. There is an envelope inside that is addressed to Nicola but was returned to the sender because she is not in Paris. Then Frances makes an effort to contact Nicola. An officer named Alexa Heyman contacts Frances after a few days, who informs Frances that Nicola killed herself 4 years prior and had never visited France. Once Frances tells her what she overheard, Alexa confirms Greta's serious illness and adds that Greta is Hungarian rather than French. Frances had to attend to Greta, who made a reservation, one evening at the restaurant. Greta claims she just wants to talk, but instead of doing so, she harasses Frances by making a scene. She breaks a tumbler of alcohol before bringing up Frances' mother and saying that she had to pass away for them to meet. Frances escapes to the kitchen as Greta flips over her table and approaches her. Then, as the police arrive to remove Greta, she is restrained by staff and customers. The following day, Frances learns that Greta has been released. To ensure her safety, Frances makes preparations to stay with her father. In order to gradually remove Greta from her life, Erica urges Frances to finally speak with her and let her know she is leaving for a while. Greta hugs her tightly and uncomfortably. Later, Frances is drinking at home when she begins to feel lightheaded. After drugging the beverage, Greta emerges and reprimands Frances for allegedly lying about leaving. Frances is dragged by Greta to her house, where she is placed in a toy chest. Then, when Frances awakens, it appears that she had dreamed that, and she discovers Erica in her apartment with her. When Frances tries to leave in the elevator, it seems to be going lower than the ground floor, and the walls begin to close in around her. Frances is actually imprisoned within a toy chest, and that was just a dream, it turns out. Greta rushes to let her out as she pleads for help, making it appear as though she is punishing her for lying. Greta steals Francis' phone and convinces Chris and Erica that she is vacationing with Erica while Francis is actually traveling with her father. Greta holds Francis hostage for an unspecified period of time. One afternoon, while Greta is pressuring Francis to assist in making cookies, Francis slams a rolling pin down, severing Greta's pinky finger, and then strikes Greta in the head with the pin. The doors and windows are locked as she tries to flee. Samantha Bale's body is in the basement. When she arrives there, she seems to gasp and have a brief convulsion before passing away. Francis is suffocated by Greta till she collapses. Francis is then kept imprisoned in the wall space behind the piano by Greta while she is bound to a bed. Chris visits the ladies' flat in the meantime and meets Erica. Both of them instantly recognize something is amiss after bringing up their purported trips. Chris asks Detective Brian Cody for assistance in locating Francis. Cody retrieves Greta's records, which show that she was a nurse who abused and perhaps killed patients, and that it was thought she had returned to Hungary. Cody locates Greta's house and has a conversation there. Francis hears Cody utter her name, so she thumps on the bed and starts the piano's pendulum ticking to gain his attention. Cody walks over to the piano, but Greta runs in barefoot and injects Cody with a tranquilizer before he can get to Francis. In his effort to shoot Greta, he almost hits her before losing consciousness and collapsing. Greta then takes his revolver and shoots him with the remaining rounds before throwing his body in the basement in a bag with the chemical quicklime. After that, Greta returns to the subway in search of her next victim. Arriving at her house is a young woman with wavy brown hair. As they converse, Greta takes a brief break and then comes back to finish her coffee, and she starts to feel lost. She identifies herself as Erica, who had been looking through the subways for a handbag until she came across Greta. She takes off her wig and admits to having drugged Greta the same way she had Francis. Francis tries to grab Erica's attention by hanging on the piano and tripping the pendulum while Greta collapses. Francis is released when Erica pushes the piano back. The two kiss, but as Erica struggles to remove Francis, they notice music playing, indicating Greta is nearby. Despite Erica's efforts to locate her, Francis feels Greta grasp her by the throat and declare that she is her favorite. Once Greta collapses, Erica starts to beat her, but Francis stops her and offers a better solution. Greta is placed inside the toy chest, which the two secure with an ornamental Eiffel Tower. Greta gently begins knocking the chest's lid as the ladies depart, and the trinket gradually begins to move out, suggesting that it won't keep Greta for very long before the police can arrive.